Title: At a family dinner, she declared, "My ex will always be part of my life. If you don't like that, don't marry me." Everyone stared at me. I just said, "Okay." Start. The silence after her words was heavier than the clinking of cutlery. I watched her lift her glass of wine, her eyes darting across the table as if daring me to protest. Her parents stared at me, her sisters shifted in their seats, and I felt every eye burn into my face. She had chosen this moment, public, humiliating, irreversible. "My ex will always be part of my life," she said again, voice louder this time. "If you don't like that, don't marry me." I let the words sink in. I didn't argue, didn't storm out, didn't even blink. I just smiled and said, "Okay." The dinner went on, but she kept glancing at me, waiting for the explosion that never came. That was her first mistake, thinking silence meant surrender. We had been together for 3 years, 3 years of building, planning, dreaming. I knew her better than she knew herself, or at least I thought I did. I'd loved her once, deeply. The kind of love that turns nights into mornings without you noticing. The kind that makes you forgive red flags, telling yourself you're just being insecure. The phone turned upside down when she texted. The late work meetings, the sudden interest in old friends. I saw it all. But love is a drug, and I overdosed. Until that dinner. That night, her mask slipped. She didn't want me as her partner. She wanted me as her audience, her safety net, her second choice. And that's when love died. What rose in its place was colder, sharper, more useful. I started with her ex, quietly, carefully. A few calls, a few discreet checks. His finances weren't as stable as hers. His reputation wasn't spotless. Gambling debts, old loans, a weakness she never mentioned. Maybe she didn't know. I made sure to know. Then her. I pulled the wedding plans apart thread by thread. The venue? Canceled. Invitations? Recalled. Deposits? Redirected. Legally, thanks to a clause she never read when we signed together. I didn't confront her. I let silence do the damage. By midweek, she was calling vendors, shouting at her mother, demanding answers. When she turned to me, I just raised my brows and said, "You told me not to marry you if I couldn't accept him. So I didn't." Her face went pale. She laughed, nervously, thinking I was bluffing. But the papers had already been filed, the joint accounts already divided, the apartment already stripped of everything that was mine. She never saw me pack. But that was just the beginning. I waited. Patience is everything. She went crawling back to her ex, of course, the same man who whispered behind my back. The same man who thought I was blind. They paraded themselves online, thinking I was crushed. I wasn't crushed. I was calculating. You see, I had introduced her to contacts, business, clients, opportunities she couldn't have reached without me. Quiet connections, favors owed. I pulled them back, one by one. Doors closed, deals vanished. Suddenly, she wasn't the promising entrepreneur anymore. She was the woman who lost her fiancé, her stability, her credibility. And her ex, with his debts, his desperation, he wasn't a partner. He was a parasite. I didn't need to destroy them. They would destroy each other. The final act came quicker than I expected. Her sister called me, whispering through tears. The engagement was off, she said. My ex-fiancé had discovered her new man's debts, his infidelity, his true face. History had repeated itself, but this time I wasn't the fool in the middle. I went to see her once more. Not to reconcile, not to gloat, just to end it face to face. She sat in the cafe corner, sunglasses on, hands trembling around a coffee she barely touched. When she saw me, she tried to smile. "You planned this," she said, voice cracking. I didn't deny it. "You could have warned me. You could have—" I leaned forward, cutting her off with a whisper. "You warned me first. That night at dinner. You told me not to marry you, so I didn't. Everything after, that was just me listening to you." Her lip trembled. tears slid down, hidden poorly by dark glasses. I stood up, dropped a few bills on the table, and looked at her one last time. You wanted him in your life. Now, he is. Congratulations. Then I walked out. Sometimes revenge isn't fire and fury. Sometimes it's silence, calculation, the slow removal of every illusion until the betrayer is left staring into the mirror of their own choices. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't beg. I didn't fight for someone who wasn't fighting for me. Instead, I turned her words into a weapon and let her stab herself with them. And in the quiet aftermath, I discovered something liberating. Revenge isn't about making them bleed. It's about making them wish they never cut you.